don't know. It's too fancy.
What is up, everybody? Yes, we are live. I hope that we're live. Thank you for being so patient. We're starting the show a little bit later tonight. We were getting some of the tech issues worked out. I'm happy to say we got them worked out. It was all a browser issue. Chrome, but we got our guest on. His mic is working, his camera's working, and our guest tonight is unparalleled. We have a lot to talk about, so I don't want to waste any time here in the pre-show. I'm, of course, Ethan.
And I'm Kim.
And welcome to gingerrun Live, episode number, 137. Our guest tonight, Mr. Jim Walmsley, fresh off of the big FKT, rim to rim to rim. Actually, rim to rim and rim to rim to rim. We're going to talk to him all about it tonight. So here we go, guys. Welcome to gingerrun Live. Let's begin now.
Ginger Runner.
Yay! Welcome everybody. Happy Monday.
I almost knocked the table over.
Yeah, don't do that because we have some valuable things on the table tonight. Some adult beverages because, well, first, happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're just talking just me.
To you. Also to Canada, of course. Tonight is Canadian Thanksgiving. So
happy Thanksgiving to all my family and all of our friends up there and all of you viewers. There's a lot of you talking about your Thanksgiving dinners that you had this weekend already.
I am very lucky. I get to have double the amounts of Thanksgiving.
I also
yes, you also do. Okay, that aside, let's get on with the show because we are starting a little bit late and our guest tonight is VIP, and I don't want to waste any of his time or your time, viewers and listeners. So let me first start by saying that if you are watching live and you have questions for our guest tonight, please drop them into the chat room. Why?
I'll be in the chat room as usual, pulling the questions for Jim. So just make sure you ask him. Try and ask him earlier on in the show. Obviously, I pull them throughout the show as well. But
our guest is an incredible athlete, one of the fastest humans on earth, really, especially in the ultra world and mountain running and trail running currently, coming off of a really interesting day at Western States 100 this last year. I even have some footage of him running, and I can't wait to hear a little bit about how that unfolded for him. But then, like fresh off of that, he just set the fastest known time across the Grand Canyon, rim to rim, from south to north, and then turned around from the north rim, ran back to the south rim, and got the fastest known time for rim to rim to rim by a huge margin. Like it's incredible what he did. And we're going to talk to him all about it tonight. Welcome to gingerrun Live, episode number 137 with Jim Walmsley. Here he is. What is up, man? How are you?
Doing good, and thanks for having me on the show. And
yeah, man. I finally got you on the show.
Yeah.
I might have you turn your volume down just a smidge because I'm getting a little bit of an echo, just like 2 clicks or something. That should be totally fine.
Is that better or
way better? Yep. That totally works. Just a little bit of an echo. But first of all, let's kind of go back a little bit. I'm not going to say you're new to the trail scene because you're not. You've been racing for a long time, years now. But in the last couple of years, you've blasted to the front of the scene. You've won a number of races. You won an entry into Western States this year. How was the last year for you been? Have you really dialed focus on fast courses, trying to get qualified for Western States, or were you working on anything in particular? Or do you have like big projects that were on your calendar that you were working on?
Nothing in particular. I think it's been I've seen the success as like taking those steps in my life to make running more of a focus and having the opportunities to go do that, and moving to Flagstaff, having more of a stable lifestyle to just train and get in consistency. And consistency has been the biggest thing. And then in addition to that, probably March, March is kind of when I started pushing the envelope a bit, and I've only gotten good feedback from trying to do a little bit more. So it's been really exciting and kind of flirting more with the line of when is it going to be too much. So I don't feel like I found it quite yet.
That's crazy to hear because I've seen you run a couple of times now in person, but you've raced obviously a lot more. And what I saw in person, I have video from Western States specifically. it's mind blowing. You just said that you don't feel like you've reached the limit of your own potential yet. Was there a breakthrough in the last 6 or 7 months that you went, oh, this is another notch that I didn't know I had because of, you know, a specific type of training or nutrition? Was there anything that like clicked for you?
I would say like, so before this whole year, I think I'd only gone over 100 miles maybe once in my entire running career. This year, I couldn't tell you how many times I've gone over 100. And then before Lake Sonoma was an experiment with going up to 120. I think I got 125. And then felt like I was maybe overreaching, but I dialed it back real hard and used that as a rest for my next training block, but also as a taper for Lake Sonoma. And then basically after Lake Sonoma, once I got my legs back, it just went straight into a block to try to get up to 140 a bit. And then in addition to that, it's kind of the community here in Flagstaff. I have other good trail runners to run with, as well as marathon guys. And like one of the best things, I think, and it's going to be probably the most important run I do every week, is going to be the Sunday Flagstaff long run. It's typically like a 20 to more miles. And you get guys in a group just rolling 540s, 6 minutes, whatever. And it just feels awesome to have a couple guys to do that with. And probably the fast long runs like that at altitude, and then the volume and then consistency. I've been super lucky with just being healthy. Really, really healthy, which I never take that for granted, because if you've been in running long enough, you know it usually doesn't, it only lasts so long. So consistency, volume, and just quality long runs have been the biggest thing, and adding in more vert, I guess, too, would be another one. So those have all kind of contributed to, I just feel like I'm not blowing up my legs, or I'm managing things better, and I'm learning how to do nutrition better and better. So I just feel stronger and stronger at the end of races. So I feel more confident going harder from the beginning and just holding on to that. It feels like the right pace.
That's interesting. We talk a lot about it on the show, as far as we've brought up overtraining and putting in too many miles per week. And I'm sure that question's popping up in the chat room too, just as far as people talking about 100 miles or more per week being too much. You are saying that that's actually something that opened up a new door for you, potentially giving you more. Would you say that it gives you more confidence in your ability to push that pace? Because you, well,
I mean, a big thing how I look at it is you like, so just in town, if I compare my training to other people, I could be hitting 100, 115 miles a week. I'm not doing the most miles in Flagstaff doing that. And so there's other guys to look to that are just crushing training, and they've been doing it a lot longer than I have. And they're totally fine. And then the other thing I think you can look at, marathon, I think, is where you can really look at, they harness around that 140 mile quality week, the top guys in the world. And then even on the track in the 5K and 10K, Galen Rupp and Mo Farah are both known for pushing that 120 to 140 mile weeks for a 5K race. Like, so if you're not running that much, like, and then you watch documentaries about East Africa, they're running 3 times a day, sort of thing. It's like, you don't know. I think most people do break, but hopefully, like, someone's gonna make it, sort of thing. And it's one of these things of, why not me? I want to make it happen, so it has to be me. Like, just accept it, push it, and I don't know. It's a risk and it's a gamble, and I don't expect to do it forever. But I like doing it this way, and this is my way, sort of thing. And I enjoy this process a lot.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to follow you on Strava. It's a great way to feel lazy. Your Strava is insane. It really is. It's fun to follow, because it's just what here's what I'm not doing, which is running as much as you're running. It's damn impressive. Let's get some questions from the audience, because I know that they're going to continue to flow in throughout the entire show. So, babe, what do we got?
Yeah, since we're talking about training and you just mentioned Strava, there's a question from Brian in the chat room. What kind of data do you look at from your training runs to track your progress, and what kind of tech do you use?
So I run with a like a Suunto sport watch. It's the only one they'd give me free like a year ago. So I took it. But the main thing was I was complaining.
That'll change. You just saying that will change that.
The main thing was that I didn't have a computer, or I haven't had a computer for years now. So like I don't know if maybe people would see me more at the library now that like I do get stopped a little more since the rim to rim and to rim record. But I upload everything through my phone, so I needed a Bluetooth watch. But once I got that, it's been about a year with the watch now, and main important thing is volume. I like doing vert. I think over 12,000 feet of vert a week is good. I think 15,000 feet's better, and then you're really pushing it with over 20 and volume. I think that's really good quality mountain training from my experience now. But it all depends. When I feel more beat up, I'll run more flat. Typically Wednesdays and Tuesdays I have my go-to runs. Wednesdays I do run Flagstaff at 7 a.m. from the running shop here. It's a flat run, and Thursday's the bagel run, which is always going to be flat. So the other days I kind of, if I want vert and I'm feeling good, I'll go get it. But vert and volume is a big way to get yourself in a hole. But those are the ones I watch, and when things are going good, I've been able to just somehow hit volume, vert, and speed on long runs. I think that Sunday long run has been huge. I started doing that. I finally like reworked my schedule at Absolute Bikes so that I could do that Sunday long run in about March, and it's just paid huge dividends.
Nice. Let's take another question.
Yeah, another training-centric question from Nathaniel in the chat room. What percentage of that 115 to 140 miles per week is hard? What percentage is easy effort, if any?
It depends. So if I'm feeling like I'm struggling, I'm gonna jog it out until I start feeling better, and I might start doing more doubles. I think since states, I've only gone above 150, I guess above 106 once, and that was about 3 weeks ago. I hit I was trying for 120 and I hit 125, but I had 3 weeks before at like 105, and then I think the week of was like 100 in something. But so I haven't gotten back to that yet, but I view that block as a building block to get back up to the 140 miles. But hard, it depends. The intensity part is where I really listen, I think. I do get ready to roll on Sundays. So I plan on a hard Sunday. Sometimes you're going hard on tired legs, and it's learning to go hard on tired legs for sure. But I don't do workouts very often. Sometimes my friends are like, hey, I want some, like usually marathon friends, they're doing like a track workout, and they want someone to pop in, and it's kind of nice because typically about 450, I'm no problem doing whatever workout pace-wise. But once it starts dipping 440, I start hurting a little more just because I don't do it. I don't do strides. I don't know. I should, and probably the older I get, the more I'll need to do that.
Yeah, there's already tons of questions on training. People just want to know
how can I be Jim?
Yeah, how can I be Walmsley? What is the magic formula? I feel like Walmsley has something very unique going on here. He's got an uncanny ability to destroy all of us. So we just have to accept it. But there's also lots of talk about the crop top. Crop tops are not new. They've been around for as long as time, but I do have to commend you, Walmsley, on rocking the crop top like nobody's business.
The crop top holes might be a new combo.
I think that I agree.
Yeah, but like people were bringing up, why didn't I wear a crop top, or where was the crop top at the rim to rim to rim? It was 28 degrees when I started. It was freezing. And the whole crop top thing, it really needs to be a summer trend because it's all about functionality, and it's how I approached. I tried to do as many tips and tricks and stuff that I could during Western States to get a foot up on running well in the heat. I think AJW said it was officially the 3rd hottest year.
Yeah.
So and I felt like I handled the heat really, really well, which in the big scheme of things really sucks, because that means I should go do that because I have a bigger advantage. And if you have an advantage, you should maybe pursue that. But I don't know. I think you should pursue what you have a passion for. But being a Phoenix boy, I feel like I have to own the heat. So I think that's where it stems from.
For sure. And yeah, at States, there were multiple crop tops. I remember seeing Laney up the escarpment wearing also the hold.
I think it was a singlet with holes.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't all the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't all the way cropped. But let's talk about States before we get into the rim to rim and rim to rim to rim. So this was a huge day, obviously, for those who are towing the line. For you, this was your first time at States, but you ran as though it was like your 50th time. You decimated. Was there an approach that you took to this race that was unique? Was there a plan? Because you were flying, quite simply.
Well, I completely broke the plan. The plan was really to do kind of a yo-yo of I wanted to let everybody go and let someone else settle into the pace and see what other people had and how they wanted to run it. I started walking and stopping and trying to hide in packs on the way up escarpment to let people go. And I just kept seeing, like Sage and David Laney were 2 guys I was really keying off of for sure. I have a lot of respect for both those guys. So I kept seeing them both look back. I think David Laney was watching Sage a little more, but I could see Sage watching me, and it was just like, no matter what I do, I'm affecting it all the way back, like a quarter, half mile, and it's just like, this is ridiculous. So when I crested escarpment, I just decided to settle in, or I guess 2 things. One, I started without, I made a mistake before I even started running that day of, I forgot 500 calories that I was going to wear on a waistband. So it turned into, I wanted to settle into my own pace and then make up a little bit of time so that I could eat at the first aid station, because I wouldn't get to pick up a big calorie thing until 21 or 24, whatever it is. So, but after that, I think once I settled into my pace, it just became, we're going to roll with it. It feels good. It feels smooth, and it feels efficient, and it feels sustainable. So the biggest thing was I felt it was the most efficient pace for me. Not that I was trying to push the pace or anything, but because every time I saw my crew, I knew I was going to get yelled at of just like, you're going too fast. But at the same time, I think after they saw me once or twice, they're just like, run easy, but keep going. Like, you're doing, like, go. I think they started to get a sense for things were special that day. And things were. I mean, everything kind of felt good and lined up. And yeah, it's just kind of how you pray you feel that how you hope to feel on race day, for sure.
As a spectator and as someone who was documenting the day for multiple people, it was incredible to hear the buzz at every aid station about, oh, Walmsley came in 10 minutes above course record, or he came in 15 minutes. And it was increasing throughout the day. When I was waiting at Forest Hill, which is 55, I believe, there's a lot of the States old school people that are like, it's 54.3. I actually forget. I think it is 55-ish. I was delirious that day, as I'm sure Walmsley was. But when Walmsley came through in first place, he had gapped the record by 30 plus minutes, I believe. Looking bright as a daisy. Here is a clip. There's actually 2 clips, but
fresh as a daisy.
Fresh as a daisy? Daisies are fresh. That's how Walmsley looked. Just crushing it. Check this out.
And if you've looked at the Western States program that accurately characterizes this young man,
I don't think I've seen this edit of it.
Yeah, this is just the raw footage, so you probably haven't seen this. At this point, you get so pumped, you throw the sponge in the air. Here's the next clip. There it lands.
I was telling that guy actually to stay there. I wanted to jump over him.
Well, let me tell you this. That was the fastest I've ever run. Following you with the camera, I think was my fastest split on Strava ever. I don't think it was the fastest ever, but I was so winded after just following you through the aid station. I couldn't believe that you were maintaining that pace. You were treating this short, like 5-mile section like a 10K. Everyone that was there, these are elites of all levels and all sorts of people spectating. Everyone just kind of went, what just happened? Like, he's racing at mile 55 as though he just started a 5 or 10K. So that was incredible. How did the rest of the race play out for you? Because I know you were strong and efficient until a certain point when things kind of went south.
So something interesting that AJW just released was, I mean, for the next couple segments of the race, I still had top 3 fastest times all the way up until basically Brown's Bar, even including the river section stuff. It was still record pace and still making up time, but I felt really good. I think I could feel, I mean, after the river, losing a bottle and being exposed in the sun up that climb, I knew I needed to slow it down there, but then I got back into a rhythm again and I was moving really well. I think it was about 8-minute pace, so it wasn't Forest Hill fast, but 8-minute pace. The last section of the race is actually on pace for the fastest split ever. So I felt like I was going really well. I've had there are people like hiding out at Auburn Lakes, which is like 91, out on this like random porch in the woods. And I've had them reach out of like, man, you're looking so good. And like, literally that's a mile before I went off.
Yeah.
So it was just, everything was good. I thought they were so much closer than what they were though. And it's just, you're running from yourself and your own thoughts when you're up front, which is good and bad. But yeah, if I knew I had the lead that I did, kind of, it's one of those things of, I think I would have still raced it back on and been competitive in the day, but it wasn't, and it's not what happened. And I was just pretty crushed kind of when I for sure realized, like, because you're like questioning things for a couple miles before you go, I'm in the wrong spot. And then once that hits, everything's just kind of like, I'm going to sit down. Because I mean, you start hurting so much earlier in the race, and you're like, oh, I'd love to sit, like, but you just keep going, and yeah. So it was finally a moment of like, screw it, I'm gonna take a break. I messed up, and I just need to get my thoughts together and regroup and just settle down.
Yeah, for those, we have some good questions here, but for those who don't know, not only did Walmsley almost get washed down the American River at the river crossing because he was going so fast. I think you were swimming across the river in the current.
Well, I had heard that you could swim across, but I think my life vest and how high the water was, I took 2 strokes and I was like down the river. Of like, that life vest was just a kite in the wind.
Yeah.
So now I get a bunch of crap for how bad of a swimmer I am, but I'm actually a pretty good swimmer. And I do think I can make it across without the life vest, but next year I'll definitely just hang on to the rope and try to be speedy that way and just take it as a little bit of a break.
So not only did that happen later in the race in the 90s, tell me if I'm wrong, 93, 92?
I think it was 92 to 93. Yeah.
Between mile 92 and 93, there is a hard turn that, unfortunately, the trail keeps going straight, but the hard turn you have to take. And if you miss it, the trail goes like 3 miles down to Highway 49.
49.
Yeah, you end up hitting cars and traffic.
Yeah, and that's a popular place where people park, I guess, to get down to river access. So it's like there's a bunch of cars up there. There could be something there, but there's no.
Let me ask you this.
Set up.
So basically, what happened is by going off course, what you just mentioned, you ended up wanting to take a bit of a break. And when I saw you later, you were still walking. You had gotten back on course. You made up the mileage, but at that point, you had just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to finish this thing. It's not going to be fast. I'm just going to enjoy it. So when I remember seeing you and you were just like, hey, what's up, man? I was like, are you all right? You're like, yeah, well, whatever. Are you going to go back and are you going to, oh, sorry. No, wait, go for it.
No, you go.
No, you go. It's an audience question.
Question from Steven in the chat room. Jim, any desire to go back to Western and try and set the course record?
I more or less think you're going to ask a similar question. But
exactly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the plan's totally revolving around Western states. I think that 140 mile per week training is going to get pushed, and it's going to be more personal to get. It's going to be so going in this year. I mean, it's still my 100-mile debut, and 92 miles of it went perfect. And I don't feel like I bonked, maybe mentally bonked, but for a reason, I think it's avoidable. But so much of it went well that I feel more confident about making the goal to set the bar higher on the course record. I think people thought that was very. People didn't like I was mentioning the course record, of like even mentioning the win was weird. But next year the course record's going to be very near and dear and personal. And I think even this year, like when I was going up to Green Gate out of the river, and I was like, all right, I can give some time back and I need to relax. I already have a mentality of like, I'm not going to give a single second. It's going to be for sure a full out attack from when the gun goes off. Yeah, that's totally the plan. And it's going to be to just try to wreck it as much as possible.
That's awesome. That'll be really exciting to follow.
So the other thing too is I don't think I've ever said this on or like typed it anywhere, but I would love for all the elites to come out and experience that too. I'm all about creating carnage or accepting carnage or whatever. So everybody, I won't list anybody because people will feel bad if they got left out, but whatever. Everybody's included in next year.
The gauntlet has been dropped, or the invitation has been dropped by Walmsley, essentially inviting all elites to come and to take it on. I think next year could be the best states to spectate and to follow.
It'll be the fastest state.
I can imagine. I'm going to get a qualifier. I want to get it.
You can race Jim.
Yeah. I'm going to get my crop top on. I'm going to gain 20 more pounds, see what I can do with that. I imagine what happened at States for you, correct me if I'm wrong, it left you with a unfinished business. Was the Grand Canyon FKT something that you needed to not only prove to the world, but to yourself?
No, I view it as separate. Western States is Western States. And whether it goes great or whether it goes bad, it's still a separate thing. I don't know. I wish I nailed it the first time, because I guess my big plan was I would have loved to go to Zagama and race Zagama, because Killian's always at Zagama. So I'd love to meet up with Killian and race him sometime. And even if it's because he's won that race 8 times. So even if it's his backyard race sort of thing, I'm down to throw down. So, no, it wasn't really a redemption thing. It's been on my bucket list for a long, long time.
Awesome. Let's start talking about it, because this is a big day. It happened last week. The fastest known time on rim to rim previously was 2 hours, 51 minutes, and 20 seconds by Rob Krar. The rim to rim to rim, also Rob Krar, 6 hours, 21 minutes, 47 seconds. I'll make sure I get that exactly right. Both incredibly stout numbers that were set in the last couple of years. And many people were like, oh, you know, no one's going to be able to break these FKTs. When you approach the canyon, did you approach it with the mindset of the conditions have to be perfect? Training has to be, you know, you have to taper and do all that and kind of make sure that it's a peak moment. And did you envision the FKT? Was that the ultimate goal? Both FKTs, actually. Was that the ultimate goal?
Both FKTs definitely was not the goal. And then I think things have to be good. I guess my starting time took care of perfect conditions quite a bit. It was cool. And for the first 35 miles, if I ran the first half well, I was guaranteed no mule trains. So with that, and then it's an FKT. You get to pick the day. So I didn't want it to be a completely rainy day. When I tried rim to rim a year ago, it was only my second time in the canyon. And it was just muddy and awful and just a really slow day, which in retrospect, I mean, no one ever heard about it because it didn't go good. I ran like 302 or 301 for rim to rim, north to south, but for the most part, it was just kind of a fun experience. But I didn't have to go on the day, but weird things meant to be. And I chose October 4th, probably a couple months ago. And it was I just said it's a tentative date of I could move it around a bit or even a week. And but October 4th never changed, and it ended up being the perfect day. And I didn't hit a single mule train, which is just, I think it might be the only time I've ever done that.
Yeah, even we've been to the canyon once. It was a rainy day, so we know what it's like to have rain, and the mule trains there was crazy. I have to let you know before we even get into the FKT stuff that your FKT didn't last long, Jim, because I was also there. I just happened to also set the FKT. Here's my proof, just in case anyone wants to see it. That's my proof. You
look amazing.
I do look amazing.
Very fresh for setting the FKT.
I have no other proof. There were no witnesses. If anyone was there witnessing it. Yeah, no GPS. I didn't actually say I was going to go for it, but I just want those who were there to come out of the woodwork. Let me know if I did it, because I beat you by 4 hours. I did the whole thing in 4 hours.
Your time was incredible for
Thank you.
Being a
Thank you. But okay, all jokes aside, not to discredit anything here, because this number is stout. Getting the rim to rim from south to north is tough because you're doing a majority of the climbing. You go up to 8,000 plus feet, I believe. It's a gnarly climb. 8,300 feet.
You start at 72 and you finish at 83.
It's the hard way. It's the hard direction.
It is, yeah.
Was that intentional? Was it intentional to go south to north, back to south?
Well,
did you think you would get the fastest?
To start on the south and go north and then to south, but it wasn't intentional to get rim to rim during the rim to rim to rim. More or less, I wanted to be at least around where Rob was on his rim to rim, which was 303. But more or less, I didn't want to start out by trying to hit someone else's splits, because those aren't my splits. And a big thing looking at his data and running in the canyon a lot is I can take chunks out of the descents. I think I'm a little disappointed with my North Kaibab trailhead descent down to Cottonwood. That was the main plan to attack the FKT, was going to be on that descent. And by the time I got to North Kaibab, I was telling my friend Nico Barraza, who was up there, I shot down South Kaibab too fast, and my legs hurt. And so the descent down, I tried to just get my legs back under me by Roaring Springs, which is about 4 miles. So I think the video surfaced from Jamil.
I've got some clips from
And
that. Yeah.
that's actually when I was trying to let my legs recover, and probably one of the easier effort parts of the entire day. Just because I needed my legs under me from Cottonwood essentially to Phantom is just the fastest part of the canyon. So if you can't run that part well, then you're putting yourself in a tough situation.
And water it's limited for most humans. Did you have any issues? Because there are water sources.
I drank 120 ounces total. So about 20 ounces per hour with 250 calories. So I am doing a write-up on this.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm still working on it. It's already 2 pages long, and I haven't started the canyon run yet of just because there was a lot of planning on just when to run, why to run it at this time, and I just want it to be very transparent. And I'm kind of like my training, I'm not afraid to let people know how I did it, why I chose it, and how to do it better. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to walk away and be the best forever. So, or not, whatever. It's just a challenge out there. But I think there's a lot of time to still be made up on both records.
Yeah, I mean, that's if there's anything that I've just learned in this short conversation with you, it's not that, hey, I set this record and it's going to stand forever. It's you obviously like competition. You love the invitation and that camaraderie when people get to challenge and push themselves to that breaking point.
I like it when I'm ready for it.
Sure, yeah, okay.
I've also showed up for plenty of races in my short ultra career right now, and just been like, especially when I was still in the Air Force, I'd show up like half-assed and barely, like, not quite fit, and just gotten served, and just like, oh my gosh, that was a terrible experience. Or even if I won the race, it was a terrible experience. Like, so it's fun when you're ready and you feel like you're putting your best foot forward.
Absolutely. Tons of questions. I don't want to skip out on any of that. Kim, what have we got so far?
Question from Kevin Chan in the chat room. What was your goal time besides setting the course record?
Literally the goal was to break 6:21. I thought the more I could break it by, the more it would make it a story. And then on a dream day, breaking 6 for the first time would be massive. But I think going in with a sub-6 goal would have been way too risky. As well as rim to rim record doing rim to rim to rim is really, really risky. But it just happened. I don't know. And if you asked me probably at Cottonwood on the way back, if I would have gotten rim to rim to rim or sub-6, because I think I was calculating it and how I felt. I felt pretty comfortable at that point. But the breaking 6, I was just like, I don't know. You just don't know about that second climb until you go do it.
Yeah, let me show this video clip first. Jamil Curry has an awesome YouTube channel. He's been pumping out a lot of really amazing content. He was there on the North Rim documenting Jim's arrival for the Rim to Rim FKT, which I don't know if you actually knew if you got it or not.
The Rim to Rim?
Yeah.
No. I think I was the only one when I was up there that knew I got rim to rim, because I tagged the rock. I look at my watch and I see 2:46.08. And then my split that I'm going to release is actually, someone mentioned that they saw me hit my watch during the video before I go down. That's when I took the split. So you'll see the split at 2:48 and change.
Yes.
But then another thing too is Jamil wasn't planned to take this video and stuff. He's up there crewing and pacing for Michael Bielsberger, Arizona guy that's doing the AZT right now. And so he just happened to be like, I got to get this on video. And he kind of showed up, and kind of lucky he did, because it ended up being a pretty cool video.
Yeah, so I'm going to show just some clips from the video if you guys want to watch the entire video. He's actually got 2 takes. He's got the more edited version, which is 6-7 minutes or so on the Run Steep Get High YouTube channel.
My Instagram has a 1-minute clip too.
Yeah, and we can go to Jim's Instagram as well. And then there's also a 25-minute unedited version where you just get all of the raw switchbacks, because that's pretty much all it is. Like the whole canyon, it's like switchbacks, and it's pretty amazing because it's so fast. So here is the clip of Jim arriving, getting the FKT on the rim to rim, and leaving down some of those switchbacks.
I don't know. I don't have to run back down. I might have been too fast.
Yeah, you're expecting to be off floor.
My hands are so numb. So I was just going for the time across. I don't know. We'll see if I got it on the way out, but
Take it easy.
could be a hard bonk.
Yeah. You not better, or you good?
I don't know. I'm just debating whether I want to go.
Oh yeah.
I already got one.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
How are you feeling?
Tired. The climb out's going to be completely awful.
Yeah.
But I think I can roll this descent and be a better story. All right. So 246.08.
I got your photos of it.
Break it down. Yeah, break it down. Yeah, come on.
All right, so I'm just going to tease it because it's good. Go watch it. Go subscribe to that channel, Run Steep, Get High. And Jamil's actually in the chat room.
He is in the chat
This is a great comment. I got to find it. He said, where did it go? He goes, I'm pretty sure I trained my whole life to keep up for those 2.5 miles with Jim. I can
That's because he had
imagine.
a camera blocking the trail, though. His 2.5 miles was more impressive than that 2.5 miles by me.
It's an amazing video. I encourage you guys to go just check out the whole thing because it's a great glimpse into that day and what it's like. The North Rim is so beautiful. There's giant forests and trees, and it gets high altitude. The fall colors are amazing there. So it's a great video. Definitely go check that one out. What was probably your lowest moment during that FKT?
Well, the lowest moment was definitely, and it's on my Strava data if you look at the splits, but you could see I was taking splits at like the last couple miles of just like telling myself I gotta at least squeak out like a 15-minute mile right now. Like I can still hit a good time with that and still squeak out this, and then it would be like, all right, I didn't hit that. I'll take another split and we'll start over and we'll try to hit a split now. And so that last climb is definitely the worst. You gotta want it. But then another low one was probably when I was at the turnaround point because kind of I was only going for one record, and to get the record halfway through was that's when I was talking about I'm only going to get rewarded for one of them. So it's like I could just stop here and it's totally the same and the day is fine. But then it's kind of like, meh, like the big record is the rim to rim to rim. And then I think I was trying to make eye contact with someone just to go, yeah, you could just get a ride back, like no problem. No one would even look at me, and it was just like, I guess I'm going back down, and kind of just knowing running in the canyon a lot, the position I was in, and knowing I would have to climb out again, just wasn't a comfortable feeling.
We've had one experience in the canyon running down to Phantom and back, and it's 10 miles round trip. It's nothing. And just you go down, you're like, this is the easiest run in the world.
Amazing.
But you turn around, you look at what you just came down and go, oh my God, this is dumb. This is
Yeah.
dumb. So I can't imagine
Well,
running
just
the 20 miles
mentally it's
across
one
and back.
thing, but it's another thing too. It doesn't really hit you until you do turn around and start climbing up that your muscles are gone, and that
Yeah.
descent loaded your quad so much that you're just like, I'm in trouble. So I think a couple weeks prior, I took Morgan Elliott, who ended up winning the Sky Series race. We did a descent down North Kaibab. And I think on this rim to rim to rim record, I went down in 46, but I took Morgan down in 40 or maybe even 39. And we kind of say it's a Coconino Cowboy tradition now of that was like Cody Reed's first experience in the canyon of like, I think I went down in like 41 minutes. Tim Ferricks was down in like 44, 45. And then Cody was like 48. And we were doing out and back. And before we even turned around, Cody was just shot. And like, so it's like, if you haven't ran in the canyon or don't have experience with it, it's really fun to take your friends down too fast while they're feeling amazing and feeling great because they can't climb out. And it becomes like, all right, we're going to get some ice cream while we wait for you at the top. And you tell them that while you're going down, and they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then essentially turn around and you just pull away from them right away, and then they're by themselves in their own thoughts in the canyon, and then they're hiking, and then we eat ice cream while we wait for them.
Isn't that that must have been what Alicia and Chris did to me?
Totally.
Because I was down there.
That's the Coconino Cowboy welcome to the canyon.
Damn it. I got screwed.
I was just smart enough to turn around
Yeah,
early.
you turned around early, but
Yeah.
Alicia's like, hey, I'm going to go do my training run out. Is that cool? I was like, yeah, I'll hike out totally on my own or run out.
And Chris is like, bye.
And Chris is like, yeah, bye. Meanwhile, a storm rolls in, and everyone that was on the trail on our way down had abandoned everything. Like that's not a story that needs to be happening on tonight's show. This is about Jim. Lots of questions popping up in the chat room. Kim, let's rail some off here.
Sure. Question from Robert Harris. Did you talk to Rob Carr before or after the FKT?
Great question.
Not really. I talked to a lot of people in Flagstaff about it, kind of got input of the supported, unsupported vibes of it, because that was something really big about his write-up, as he calls it, an unsupported FKT. But then I talked to people, and it's kind of like, it depends what your definition of supported is, because, I mean, he's got a pacer in it, which kind of is not really kosher for self-supported type FKT, or if he did get help or not, I don't think it's very clear. So I didn't specify that with Rob. And then I haven't talked to him afterwards. He was out of town when I got back. And then I haven't bumped into him since, but he was nice on Twitter and gave me a nice shout out. And I think one of the things why it was really important to me is because like a guy like Rob has the record. It's what makes it so prestigious. And I think going for his record is my tip of the hat to him, that I really respect what he's done with it and how fast he's gotten it. So nothing but praise for Rob, and like it's amazing that like what he's done in the canyon and what he does for the canyon too. So haven't talked to him yet, but we'll do. He lives pretty close to me.
Always just grab some pizzacletta at some point. I know that Jim, you love pizza. I feel like before States, that's what you ate the night before, right? Yeah. You ate pizza. Did you have pizza before FKT?
Oh yeah, I did. I thought I sent you a picture of it. There might be a picture.
You sent me one before States. I don't have one before. No,
there's a pizza picture before rim to rim to rim.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think I have a margarita and a veggie pizza from Fratelli's here in Flagstaff. Pizzacletta is not quite filling enough, but it's really good artesian type pizza. And then there's like Namarcos and Fratelli's are the two other good ones. Namarcos I usually go for lunch for slices, but Fratelli, if you want to order a whole slice, is pretty good.
I'm pretty sure Walmsley is the Flagstaff pizza pro. If you guys have any questions about pizza in Flagstaff,
every time like Mike Hermsmeyer's around and I'm eating something bad, he's got his camera out taking a picture of it. Well, it's not hard because I'm always eating something bad, but he always posted on this like group called like Fatty Fitness, and he just loves it, and like whatever. I don't know. I just ignore it now. I accept it.
Regardless, I totally, we can't skip this part. Jim managed to destroy the FKT, the rim to rim to rim. It's incredible. He managed to shave off almost 25 minutes, more than 20,
and change.
26 and change. He went sub 6, 5:55:20, which is, it's bonkers. That isn't just, Jim, I'm sure you know this, but that is a reasonable time for a single human to go one direction, like rim to rim. Like that's fast for rim to rim, let alone rim to rim to rim. So it's completely unfathomable to me. Maybe I should work on my belly and go give it a shot.
More pizza.
Oh wait, no wait.
That's what it is.
I already got it. You guys already got the FKT. I totally forgot. That's my proof.
Forgot about that already.
That photo's been shown like 2 times too many.
Two times too many. The best part is that it's not even taken at the Grand Canyon, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I got it.
Questioning that, but
there's a little city at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Jim gave me some of these great photos here. Obviously, I can imagine coming out of the canyon is just exhausting. At this point, were you like, was it hot? Were you fried? Were there other hikers that were like, what's this guy doing? Like, what was kind of the mood?
Well, yeah, so I guess a couple of the funny stories, there are a couple funny stories that happened, but I think about when I was around Skeleton Point, or maybe Tip Off, which is about 4.5 miles down, I was thinking about taking off my shirt and just kind of putting it on, but then it's like, can't really do that when you have sponsors. So kind of kept the shirt on the last climb out. It started getting a little warm, and I was running with empty bottles the last mile or two. But it's another thing of like, Nathan supports me really well, so gotta keep them happy. But for the most part, it was a really good temperature day, and really nice day. Those are my parents there, so they made the drive out from Phoenix the morning of and timed it so that they could see the finish, and I'm always happy to share those experiences with them and stuff. So
probably what was the best moment for you, man? Was it just getting the FKT? Was it getting to the North Rim in a certain amount of time and knowing that you were going to be able to get this? Like, at what point did you just go, today's the day?
The descent was fun to start the day. So I did a because one of the things was, if you've ever been on South Kaibab, it's extremely rutted out because of the mules, and it's pretty technical. And I was actually doing that in the complete dark. So I did a pre-run down South Kaibab about a week prior, and it went well. I got down to the river in 42 minutes with an effort that I felt like I could do. But when I went there, it was completely silent. I was the only one. It was just a surreal, lonely, isolated, solitude type feeling when I did that. So mentally preparing for this rim to rim to rim, I was expecting to start the trail like that. And we show up and there's 2 other groups getting ready to go down. And it's like, what? Like, you guys are crazy. Who shows up at 4:15 at South Kaibab to go in the canyon? Like, you guys are ridiculous. And it's like, I thought that was crazy enough to be the only one doing it, especially after I was the only one doing it the week before. So getting to pass them at the beginning was kind of fun. And I think that kind of got my race amped up a bit, like mentality going straight from the beginning, so I ended up, the Strava split ended up being 39 minutes down to the river, which is a really suicidal pace down the canyon. I think real time, I think it was 40 minutes, 30 seconds, but wherever Strava splits it, that's what they had. So part of it too is establishing where splits should be taken, because Rob said river, Cottonwood, North Kaibab sort of stuff, but it's like, if you run through Cottonwood Campground, do you start it at the sign? Do you start it at the fountain? Do you start it when you leave? Those sort of things. So I think I'm going to go a little more detail of where to split it. So like far side of the bridge down at Colorado, right at the water fountain, and then both kiosks were my splits. But going down was probably a highlight. And then I actually saw a mountain lion down in the box canyon in the
Wait, what?
pitch black. Yeah, pitch black. It's a box canyon. There's no way out. I'm running straight at it. I see these eyes that are extremely far apart, but just glowing white back at me.
Yeah.
And
That was me, man. That was me getting the
Yeah,
FKT.
right.
I was
Yeah.
wow, mountain lion. Holy
you
crap.
have a tail about 2 to 3 feet long.
That's me.
man,
Yep,
because
yep.
it just turned around and it just went straight up a wall of like,
Wow.
Oh, man.
I don't know where it went. I don't know how far it got up that wall, but I think if you look at my Strava data, I start hitting like 530, 520 splits. That's the mountain lion. Like legitimate. I was
crazy.
looking backwards to looking for like glowing eyes and stuff. And there's definitely a little bit of a pickup moment in that.
What an amazing day. I can imagine this write-up is going to be fantastic. It's just going to be good beta too for anyone who even wants to attempt going for the FKT or attempt just trying to maybe get their own PR. There was a question earlier I'm going to ask, and then we have a lot of questions that we're just going to kind of rip through here. This will be my last question. As far as the Grand Canyon as a place to run, someone asked earlier if it is a place that you
Pete that asked that.
was it Pete that asked that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I shout him out because it's a great question. Go ahead, actually. Let's read his question because it was along the same lines here.
Sure. Pete asked, Jim, there's been a lot of criticism lately against running in the Grand Canyon and people asking the park to ban it. Has there been any backlash like this towards you?
And what are your feelings on it?
Okay, so a couple things is my feeling on it is I think groups of more than 3 runners at a time become a problem, because when you just get a train of people, honestly, I think the fastest, easiest way to move through the canyon is to just go by yourself. You're there, you're gone, no problem. I've never really had a problem. Towards the first mile up to the rim, you get really different tourists. And some of them freak out, but it's like, look, you're not in the canyon, like relax. But I think bigger groups of runners could cause problems. I haven't gotten a backlash on what I did in that aspect. I think that's a big reason because when I started middle of the week, like on a Tuesday, middle of the week, 4:30 a.m., my golden rule in the canyon is like, the mules are number 1. Like, you don't try to rush past them. You give them the time when they're comfortable to let you pass, and period. Like, there's no discussion about that. I think it's I think it's achievable, and it's not a big deal. I think big groups of runners is what could cause problems, but if you keep it a small group, generally I don't have problems in the canyon at all. So,
Good answer,
and I haven't gotten
info.
a lot of backlash with it, or any really personally. No one's really reached out to me and done it. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff everywhere about it, so I guarantee I've missed a lot. But no, I think it's been all right. So I don't know.
I can't congratulate you enough, man. It's obviously an endeavor that requires an incredible amount of speed, endurance, perseverance, and just the ability to push yourself, push your mind, push your body. Huge congratulations to you, Jim Walmsley, with the new FKT, rim to rim and rim to rim to rim. Sub 6, 5:55:20. It's a bonkers time. But what's great is he's going to do a write-up. He's going to put all the information, all the beta out there. So if anyone wants to go for it, go for it. Be safe, obviously. We have a number of questions here that we're going to get to also in the post show, but let's go ahead and rip through some now while we still have Jim.
Sure.
I'll try to keep them short, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes I elaborate too much.
That's fine. People, trust me, the live viewers and those who are listening to the podcast, they love that. They definitely like the information from elites like yourself. Go ahead. A
question from Raul. How much motivation was it for you to have your parents there, and what did they think of your goals?
I think it's very important to me to have my parents there and to know that they're waiting for me at the finish line, along with friends at both sides. When you're down in there, the canyon by yourself, a familiar face, and thinking about the familiar face waiting for you at the top goes a really long way in motivation. and knowing, and especially once they can see you and you know they can see you, of oh, I gotta run, there's no hiking, sort of thing. It's huge, and to have they've just been super supportive, and they're just kind of like, Jim, if you want to go do that and that makes you happy, you need to go do it, and we think if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And so far I've been lucky and proven them right, and or that it wasn't a bad decision to kind of let me go do that, which is I guess it's kind of nice that things have worked out a little bit.
Go ahead.
All right, question from Austin. How does setting an FKT differ from the feeling of winning a big race?
I like time trialing. I really like time trialing. I think I can run just about you don't need to worry about mental games or tactics or anything with anyone else. It's just about trying to push yourself and running your fastest race. I find the beauty in that. The race, it's going to depend. Every race is different, and I don't know, tactically you just got to feel when the right move is to go, and then just trust that feeling. A rim to rim to rim, you just got to trust how you're feeling, and there's not another external influence. So but both have been extremely rewarding. This has definitely been an amazing appreciation from the ultra community, and just living in Northern Arizona and then being from Arizona, it's been amazing, and it's been more special of how appreciative people are than I could have imagined.
Couple more questions.
Sure. Question from Mad Runner. What's Jim's go-to shoes for racing?
So I guess I had a go-to pair of shoes before I signed a contract. Now I'm with Hoka. But it's interesting. I say Hoka's been awesome because I've been able to run in like 4 or 5 different pairs of their shoes, and they feel great in different ways. My favorite pair of shoes right now is the Hoka Tracers. They're a road flat, and they're fast, and essentially we're working on a trail version of that a little bit, and I'm really excited for what they're going to design and stuff. For the Canyon, I wore the Challenger ATR2s. And then for my easy days around here, I wear the Clifton 3s regularly. They're just a nice squishy shoe to take the ease off the old back. So it's good.
Nice. Good question.
Question from Austin. What does your recovery routine look like?
Not a lot. I think
A lot of pizza.
So one of the main things that I've started since, I think since April, I've started doing a recovery drink. That's been really awesome just to get in. And if that's not available, some sort of bar, sub calories, sugar, and water. Like you really want water, sugar, and calories, probably in that order, and then protein a little bit. But honestly, I don't eat meat. I don't look at protein content when I'm eating stuff. I just haven't found it to be a problem. Once it's a problem, then I'll worry about it. But I just kind of eat to content. And but eating something after you run has been a main routine. And then when I am tired, I try to sleep much more. Just go to bed early. We have a pretty early to bed house, so that makes it a lot easier. And then if you're really hurting it, just jog it out. Just go slow. Specifically after races, though, I think Ian Sharman commented on one of my runs the day after rim to rim of like, it's okay to take a day off. But for me personally, what's worked is instead of days off immediately, is actually going into just a shuffle for 3-4 miles. Just run 10-12 minute miles. Just get outside, get stuff moving, and then once your legs feel like they're coming back, then decide if you want to take those days off. And I think it's more beneficial to take the days off 4 or 5 days down the road rather than immediately afterwards. I find the days off right away after a big effort are completely wasteful, for me at least. and that's been just my experience with how my body has responded.
You know, I'm nowhere near the level of Jim or any of the elites that we've had on the show, but I attest to that too. I feel like after a big effort, a race, whatever it is that I have done, you take the day or two off right after that. It's almost worse. It almost like the pain sets in, and
Yeah, we
things just
usually
get
like
bad.
hike or some. We
We'll
usually do
something.
something.
Yeah, like you said,
I
a
would,
shuffle.
My personal opinion is go walk, go jog really slow for 3 days, and then make a decision.
Yeah,
Would
good
be my
active recovery.
recommendation.
Yeah, totally agree. We do something with our guests, first-time guests on the show here. It's called the Quickie Question Quiz. We have a number of questions that weren't asked also by live viewers. We will ask those in the post show. We'll rip through those. But with all new guests on the show, we have a thing called the Quickie Question Quiz. It's a series of very easy questions that we're going to ask Jim. Before we even get to those, though, Jim, what's next? Is there anything on your radar?
Yep. So I'm officially signed up for both JFK 50 mile and North Face 50 mile. They are 2 weeks apart.
Yeah, very
November
close.
19th. But it's one step at a time. There's no plans for North Face other than I want to do it. If I feel awful and it's just going to be a participation medal, so be it. I would love to compete up front, and I plan on it. But I'm going to wait to see how my body responds. It's a race that I just haven't done the last couple of years, and I at least want to be there. And then the main thing is I'm getting ready to run JFK. It's going to be going for the first ever male three-peat, as well as goals are definitely going to be going for the course record there, or sub 5:30, I think is going to be my goal going into JFK. So
nice.
I'm going to try to get ready to roll for that.
Nice. And those are coming up quickly. So if you are watching this live or listening to the podcast, you can follow Jim across social media and just kind of keep up to date with what's going on in training. And stuff
training
like that.
will be on Strava. The rest of this month should start getting real. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get to the Quickie Question Quiz. You let me know when you're ready, and I'll just rapid fire through these questions for you.
Cool.
What was your very first race?
Oh, God. Field day back in elementary school, I guess, is probably what I consider. 800.
What's your favorite running movie?
I don't watch running movies or military movies.
Trails or road? I think I know the answer.
I don't know.
Oh.
I like. You didn't throw in track either.
That would make it harder.
I enjoy the process of trails. It's really captured my heart, but I do love the track, the beauty of running as fast as possible, and then I like the roads too. I grew up in Phoenix. It's mostly road running there.
Yeah, for sure. Favorite place to run?
Place to run, Flagstaff. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Bucket list race?
Got a couple probably. I think UTMB is going to be my bucket list race next year.
Cool.
I'm going to try to get into that and race that after Western States. And then what other ones? I want to travel doing some stuff for sure.
Nice. I think I know the answer to this one, but guilty pleasure TV show?
I don't watch TV. I guess time out. I watch Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Game of Thrones fan. I do make time when Game of Thrones is going on to watch Game of Thrones, and then I'm big into fantasy football, but I don't watch football really. I play every year with I have a twin brother who's a football player stuff and really smart guy, and I love beating him in fantasy football.
That's awesome. Favorite pre-race meal?
Pizza.
Which is ours as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is fantastic. Favorite post-race indulgence?
Post-race indulgence. I don't know.
Ice cream?
I like
More pizza?
More pizza.
There's, I guess it's hard to say because more or less it boils down to a big list. And what sucks about the JFK North Face double is I view that as there can't be indulgences sort of thing right after JFK. The focus really has to be right on and all about recovery. Beer, sleep, shower, ice cream, energy drinks, soda. I don't know. If you ask it, I'll probably say yes. I love it all. Yeah.
I think your answer is actually everyone else's answer from every other episode of Ginger Runner Live, because you just listed off many people's post-race indulgence. And I think you mentioned this earlier, but what are your current go-to grab them and go running shoes?
Probably Challengers would be the most versatile. I like the days I get to wear the Tracers though.
Nice. And that is it. That is it for the Quick Question quiz. Success. You passed. Well done. So that, my friends, is it for today's show. We will do a quick post show with Jim here. So we have some questions that were unanswered. If you still want to try to get a question in, bring it into the chat room right now. But otherwise, Jim, thank you so much for joining us on tonight's show. Long overdue. Me. You bet, man. A huge congratulations on the FKT Rim to Rim to Rim. I can't wait to follow you this fall, winter, and into next year. And holy crap, states next year. Just throwing out the challenge. It's going to be amazing. Where can people find you on social media and Strava and stuff like that? So they can.
Everything's Walmsley 172.
Cool. Do it. If you are watching or listening, go follow Jim. Show him some love. Thank him for being on the show. And if you have additional questions, maybe didn't get asked tonight, throw them to him on social media. He will get back to you. So that is it for tonight's regular show. Thank you guys so much. If you are watching live, we appreciate that. We do this show every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time live. Next week, our guest is Casey Lichtai. Fresh off of Western State's victory this year, as well as the Bear 100. I can't wait to find out what happened at Bear, because it sounds like it was a mess just as far as weather and stuff, and she pulled out the victory there. So we're going to talk to her next week, Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live. So please join us, and please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to youtube.com/thegingerrunner. 2 videos every single week, live shows and reviews and films and all sorts of fun stuff. And if you would like to help keep the lights on and the mics hot here, please visit us at patreon.com/thegingerrunner. It basically helps this all happen. That is it for tonight's show, guys. Stick around for the post show if you're watching live. Let's get to it.
Ginger Runner.
Nice. Awesome, man. We had so many amazing live questions that we're gonna kind of rapid fire them. Yeah, we'll just quickly go through. So where's that list you got there, babe?
Sure. There's a couple questions in the chat room. People are asking about Comrades or Badwater. Are those of interest to you?
Interesting. Yeah, like Badwater. Wouldn't have thought of that. What do you think?
Actually, Badwater was the first thing that crossed my mind at Western States afterwards, of just like the heat went so good. Yeah, they're both on my bucket list for sure. Comrades, either 2018, 2019, will happen as well. Is probably, but then I don't want to do a marathon until 2020. I want to do that at the Olympic trials.
I was going to ask if you were going to jump into the trials.
Yeah, but I want to qualify on a half if they still have that qualifier, and then mix things up at the trials. But probably feed off of Comrade stuff. So it might get pushed back to 2019. But then Badwater, I don't know where it's going to fit in, and I don't know if the course record really is appealing. Of just might just be compete, but sometimes it's nice just to compete instead of just go. You know, so.
Yeah, and I know that course has changed in recent years, and there's you know, all sorts of different things each year. Different.
Well, they changed the hard part of the course at night.
Right, completely. So it's tough to say what course record stands currently. I know that the guy that won this year just was amazing. So I would, let us know when you run. It would be amazing to follow. What more?
Question from Jesse. Golden ticket race for Western?
Yeah, which one are you going for?
Planned right now is Bandera 100K, just south of here. So can scout it out. Trails are very, very familiar. Hopefully make an Arizona and have the course record. So always like that.
It'd be awesome.
Question from Nathaniel. As someone who goes hard, how do you combat pain, soreness, or fatigue deeper into a race?
Nutrition. It's an eating contest. That's the best way. And nutrition wise is sugar. I go simple sugars, and you need multiple forms of sugar. You can't just go maltodextrin or just fructose sort of thing. You need multiple forms of sugar, but hit it often and hit it from the beginning. I think that's been my biggest takeaway this year is just how to, it's just there at the end of the race. I think if you fueled correctly. So
I saw the Northrum that you chug some Coke. Do you do like specific nutrition things? Are you using gels or liquid nutrition? What's kind of your go-to?
I think liquid nutrition's been my favorite, with gels being the other main one to get calories all at once. I typically do 250 calories in my bottle, and then supplement gels in there as well.
Cool.
And kind of based off of aid stations and crew, that's how I decide usually what I'm going to go with. The Canyon was unique because I did about 250 calories an hour, which is so low compared to what I do. And I think just if I had crew down there more accessible, I think easily another 10 minutes on that climb out of just, it was a nutrition thing. Mostly, I think I was trying to get away with a little too, not enough. Usually I aim for anywhere from 400 to 600 calories an hour, which is more than most people can handle because most people get stomach issues at that amount. But that's been another like just coincidence, random thing I'm really good at is I'm good at eating. So whatever, I'll take it.
You're saying that you could pull an additional 10 minutes off of your FKT purely based off of the bonking up the final climb.
Yeah, I think a stout record at the rim to rim FKT, so double crossing, I think low 530s would be much more stout.
Is it something like you could drop on your way down? You could drop a cache of food or something so you could pick it up on the way back up, or does that?
Well, I'm from Flags. So part of this first approach was because I'm going back and I'm going to get faster in it, but it's finding the right time. But part of the first one was not doing too much setup that was going to be too different than how Rob did it. I felt that was important. I don't feel like I did anything crazy with having someone at the North Rim because Nico just wanted pictures, which I got there too soon. Yeah, another aid station not really ready yet sort of situation. But I got there too soon, and he wasn't even set up, so he didn't even really get great or any pictures from the North Rim. But I picked up fresh bottles there, so and dropped off headlamps sort of thing. So I tried to be close and comparable to how the way Rob did it. But in the future, I feel like I have more of a say of, no, I want it to be the fastest time. So, and then being in Flagstaff, being a local, having so many supportive friends here, the idea of having a crew at Phantom Ranch, Cottonwood, and North Kaibab is the way you're going to do it the fastest, because I've talked about it and people are like, well, you just fill up and it takes like a minute each stop. Like, but if you're in a bad place, that minute turns into a 2-3 minute stop. And if you do that 5 times, all of a sudden it's not good. It adds up. So if you can just reduce it to a couple seconds, and all of a sudden you're just like getting stuff sorted out and you have everything in your hands and you're going, it's going to be way faster. I think I could be better prepared for the final climb out, physically, mentally, nutritionally, to take off a lot of time on that. So I see the record still far from where it's going to be.
Interesting. Yeah. I guess a lot of logistics and strategy can come into play now that you can essentially kind of say how this record can go down from here on out by trying.
Yeah, I want it to be a fastest time for sure. Yeah,
that's fantastic. More questions.
Question from Raul. Do you think you'll ever use a coach?
I get so much advice from so many people. It's hard to narrow it down to one person that really is the influential coach. And I don't like, I want the override of just, look, I feel like crap. I'm going to go jog. I'm not going to run today. Or I feel great. I'm going to keep hammering. So whatever. And part of that is just building off of how you feel. I get lots and lots of input from James Bonet. And now he's got resources with McMillan Running because he just started working with them as a coach, which is really cool. But then I get talking to other elites in town, talking to road marathoners, how they nutrition. That really, I think, changed my perspective of like how much I should be trying to take in per hour. Is really talking to Nick Garcianaga, who's a 3-time 211 marathoner that is debating whether he's going to run North Base 50 in December, which would be really, really cool.
That would be awesome to see him out there.
He's just such a blue collar workhorse and a really, really amazing guy for the Flagstaff community. And then, yeah, I just pick everybody's heads that nailing it down to one coach is kind of hard to do. And I also say, like, I couldn't do what I'm doing with myself with someone else, of just, you have to know exactly where you're at and taking risks. I don't think a coach would push me as hard and as risky as I push myself.
Got it.
And that's what I want to do. That's what I am passionate about. I get that it might not last forever. I might hit this overtraining bonk, but whatever. I'll take a break once I feel that.
Yeah, you are in a unique situation, being in Flagstaff and being surrounded by other highly elite athletes. You know, everyone's training at a high volume, at a high level. You have a wealth of information at your fingertips. It's unique. Yeah. It's really cool. One last question before we wrap tonight up.
Sure. Question from Garrett in the chat room.
That's a great question.
Any pointers for someone just starting the sport of ultra running?
What can you disperse knowledge-wise onto those who watch the show that might be beginners?
I think I've talked about a lot of the tips that I would say. The number one thing I would say is it's an eating contest, but at the same time, like, eat to what you're running. I believe the harder you're pushing yourself and the harder you're going, the more you need to eat. I've started just attending more ultras recently. I got to crew for Julio Salazar at Stagecoach 100 Mile and got to see what a person that's running a 28-hour 100 mile is going through. And then I've been at the last 2 weeks, I went to Mount Taylor 50K and Canyon de Chelly 55K, and just seeing what other people do and stuff is really interesting. I do think sometimes people are they're lounging at aid stations and they think it's a break. Still a race. I'll take this back. So I have an extremely minority perspective of an elite race. Most people out there are not out there for the reasons I'm out there. Most people are out there for the enjoyment, the environment, the nature, the connection, the solitude, to push themselves, but it's a comfort bubble too, of not exactly on the line that I'm going with. Because some days, like, I have a record. Luckily, not really any this year, but I've had plenty of races on my schedule where I've passed the line of I just wasn't fit enough or wasn't ready enough, and I've cracked hard. But at the same time, like, so you got to know. But going back to that. Eat to what you're running. So some of the slower runners I've seen eat too much and they're just snacking, and it's just like, and people have different philosophies how to fuel. Mine is going to be jet fuel, sugar, maltodextrin, fructose, dextrose, whatever, but sugar. Then other thing I would say is take care of yourself. If you're feeling a hot spot, you're feeling a blister, put some anti-chafing lube sort of stuff on there. Take care of it. That's very important. It's only going to get worse. Also, game plan how many calories you're going to eat, when you're going to pick up stuff, and make redundancy in your plan.
There you go.
If you think you're relying on a drop bag and you need that drop bag, and if you don't get that drop bag, you're kind of screwed. You got to have a plan B and be able to roll with it. And maybe that then relies more on the aid stations. but I think you need redundancy in your game plan going into races. And then you need to have a passion about the races you're choosing to do and why you're going to do it. I think that's huge in getting the most out of yourself is pick races and pick events or whatever you're doing that you're passionate about. If it's a race that you're kind of, I don't know if I want to do it, pick one that makes you excited, makes you get out the door to train for, makes you push yourself. So follow things you're passionate about in the running world.
Yeah, man, those are all solid tips. That last one especially.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that Kim and I have been talking about on the show and just with each other is, you know, pick the races that inspire you and you actually want to be at.
Right.
You know, you don't necessarily have to run all these races that maybe you don't want to toe the line for.
I can't tell you how many people have told me it's really stupid to try to do JFK and North Face, and it's just like I'm really passionate about trying to do that double. And so it's going to push me to do a really great training block. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll take it one race at a time, and JFK is first. So that one's got the goals, and that's where I'm focused right now. But I'm also ready to turn it around the next day. But yeah, that's what I found I'm passionate about right now, and we'll pick other races next year that get me fired up. Nice,
man. Nice. A good way to end the show too. Just solid advice from Jim Walmsley. Again, thank you, Jim, for joining us on tonight's show. It's an honor to have you on finally, and I know that we'll have you on again soon because I feel like you're going to change a lot of the sport here in this next year. So thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me and making some time and filling me in your show. It's awesome to be part of it.
Absolutely. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks. It's always good to talk to you. For those who are watching live, please go show Jim some love. Just on all social networks, it's at Walmsley172. Be prepared to be inspired, and you'll want to run a lot, especially if you follow him on Strava, because his Strava is just like
Strava's the best way to follow me, like actually like day to day where I'm at, what I'm doing. I'm not as passionate about social media, but it's fun. I like doing it, and I'm lucky to have. The more I get connected, the more I get become good friends with people that take good pictures of me. Mike Hermsmeyer being one of the better ones.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy just the people I've met for sure.
Well, we should definitely talk about making a movie next year at States about you throwing the gauntlet down and inviting everybody. I feel like that's just going to be a showcase. That's going to be
yeah. I think everybody should be going
crazy.
for golden tickets. That's going to be the way that I'm going to qualify. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll go abroad if I can get a lottery. But I'm planning on racing in, and if I get a lottery, I'll probably still do a lottery race. Those are the big ones in the beginning of the year. So, yeah, nice. I would love for Rob to be healthy and race it. Seth Swanson, got mad respect for those guys. The Nike guys that ran at UTMB. Yeah, let's throw down at Western States and everybody though. Yeah, just really excited and passionate about States. So I hope other elites are passionate about it too and want to throw down.
There's a cool photo that I took. I haven't published it because it's cool to me.
Is it you shirtless?
It was me shirtless here. It's this one. No, I won't show it. It was Walmsley talking to Zach Miller, talking to Sage, talking to David Laney. They were all talking post-States at the award ceremony. And as I'm sitting there taking a picture from afar, I'm like, oh, they're plotting. They're plotting something. Because you guys are all friends, you know, and you guys all compete at this incredibly high level that I can imagine you guys like, hey, let's all race together. Like, why not push each other?
I don't think we necessarily plan it, but yeah, I would love all of those guys to be in Western States. And if not, then I'll go get them at UTMB because a lot of those guys want to run UTMB. And if they don't want to come to my race, I'll go to their race.
It's awesome. I love it. Just throw it down, man. Make this sport's getting exciting. I like that. I absolutely like that. So thanks everyone for tuning in live tonight. Next Monday, again, Casey Lichtai will be on the show. Very excited about that. Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Subscribe and check out the Patreon, patreon.com/thegingerrunner. Oh, GRVR. If you are registered for the GRVR, the Ginger Runner Virtual Run, your stuff will be delivered, or packaged and sent this week. You will receive it, and you can participate on November 19th. If you have not yet registered, there's still a digital version with awards and prizes that you can go register for at gingerrunnerstore.com. That's it. All right, guys, get out there, train hard, race hard, and party hardest. See you guys next week. Bye.